Stream's up, I can throw my stream. Yeah, this is working. Chat is there. That's working as well. Oh, boom. Look at this. Look at this man's mug taking up all of the screen. What an absolute beauty. Hey, everybody.
How's it going, everyone?
It's a little bit of a different kind of episode tonight. Usually we have myself and Dan, but Dan is on a cheeky northern trip on the Western Australian coast at the moment, and I'm stuck here in my pajamas. So I decided to reach out and see who was floating about, and you wouldn't believe it. This man, Pestily, decided that he'd bless us with his time tonight. What an absolute pleasure, mate. How are you?
Good, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being had. A country Australian guy living his best life, first as a soldier, then a firefighter, now taking on the world of content creation. What an absolutely extraordinary story, and I cannot wait to dive into it. Where are you in the world right now?
I'm in the Netherlands. So at the start of this year, we moved over to the Netherlands as a firm base to start traveling around Europe and seeing the world. But I had this grand plan that I would travel through Europe before the world went to shit, and I missed it out by a year. So
Bugger. Because the world has kind of gone to shit. How's it? How's everything going over there in the Netherlands at the moment with everything that's going
good.
on? Yeah.
It's pretty much like I think Europe's kind of was very serious about it very early on because of everything with Italy and that. But it's we've kind of got to the stage where things start to open up again, and we can actually go outside and do a lot.
What are you doing?
People are very respectful of that.
I've never
What
been
do
there
I
before.
do, or what do people do?
Like people in general. I mean, I've never been there. I've been to I've been around Europe. I did a trip a couple of years ago now. Seems like way longer now. Went and visited the family in Italy and all that sort of stuff. Never been to the Netherlands. What do you get up to while you're over there? And I know at the moment not much, but yeah, what's the thing to do?
A lot of people come to the Netherlands to get high. That's probably what they're most known for. But it's got some really beautiful architecture, and the country to me it's really amazing how they use like agriculture throughout their whole like architecture and development of cities and town planning and that. So I don't know. I'm an outdoorsy person, so when I go outside and all I see is trees everywhere and flowers, and it's just really nice to see a country take on the like environmental role really well. You'll see solar panels and big wind turbines everywhere, and but for me, like, it's just nice to get out and just see the world. So I love culture. If I could learn it, like do one thing, it'd just be like go outside and just meet all the cultures of the world and just explore like that. If I had limitless time and money, that's what I'd do.
Yeah. Well, so that was part of the plan then? Yeah. Like do a
Yeah.
what 12 months, or was it basically an open ticket?
So the original plan was to climb the highest peak of every country in Europe in under 6 months, but that became impossible once I started getting popular on stream, and I wasn't willing to take a whole 6 months off streaming. So instead, what I decided to do was I'll take the whole year. We'll do as many mountains as I could, and at the same time see all the countries. And we're always going to see all the countries, but like my wife and I. But if we could climb mountains at the same time, that'd be awesome. I think the current plan unofficial plan is to push it back 3 years, and we'll come back in 3 years' time.
Yeah, unreal. They're saying that planes should be up and about by about 2023. So fingers crossed, mate. With any luck, that'll happen.
Yeah.
The Mrs. Christina, and did you take Lindsay over? I know you've got a doggo.
No, so
No?
well, Lindsay stayed at my mum's house. My grandmother's looking after her, so she's getting spoiled there.
Yeah.
I dragged over my cousin as my cameraman and get shit done, dude. So he's anytime I need anything sorted, like filming wise, he helps out with that. He's just got a free accommodation and food ticket, so he just drinks beer. That's like €5 a slab, and he loves it.
Mate,
You feed him beer, and he's happy.
It's not bad. I mean, like, how long have you been overseas now for?
6.5 months.
6.5 months. Okay, so I don't know if you'll still remember, but like to grab yourself a pot or a pint over here is bloody ridiculous. And then when I went over to Europe a couple of years ago, and we're walking through the streets of Rome and walking into the local deli and getting a litre flagon of wine for €1, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. So slabs here are about €6 if you get them on special. So yeah, it's not hard for alcohol. Usually they're around €10 to €12. They've got a really cool system. They come in crates, like these like plastic crates. And so it actually costs a couple of euro more, but then you take the crates back and you get that off. They give you like credit, so it's kind of like a recycling plan. It's really well done how they do it. I actually love this country for a lot of that stuff.
They do things very well over there. We got a lot of people in chat at the moment, a lot of new people in chat, obviously courtesy of the support that you've shown us and throwing the link out there tonight, mate. So thank you very much for that. We appreciate it.
No.
But hello to all of the Pestilians out there that have joined us in chat tonight, and a lot of people saying very moist. So they're incredibly happy to see how moist everything is going. Obviously, there's plenty for us to catch up about, and sorry to steal your words, but let's crack straight into it, shall we?
Go for it.
So you've got a couple of YouTube channels. You've obviously got the one that is everything that we see from your content and all of that, and there was the one that was getting about for travel and everything, and we'll come back to that in just a moment, mate. But I'd love to go back only just around about a month ago when you and I saw each other for the first time face to face to a degree, and it was on StreamRaiser, and you have been doing some incredible work raising money for the sick kids for the Starlight Children's Foundation. Now, the aim was to hit 1 million this year, and when I spoke to you last, you'd just gone past 900,000. Have you hit 1 million yet?
We're at 930,000 if I remember rightly. But next Saturday, the 1st of August, we're doing a big Starlight event, and the last one we raised $265,000 during that event.
Gee
so,
whiz.
yeah, so this one's got a lot of prizes, a lot of special guests, musicians. It's going to be incredible. So $70,000 to go. I'm very hopeful. I'm very confident we'll hit it. But obviously every dollar does help. So the more people we can get in there, the better. So if you're interested, just to plug the stream.
Mate, please, go ahead. Yes. No, please.
This is all about helping out sick kids.
Yeah, of course. No, plug away. Kids, so what's the date? Where do people go? All of that sort of stuff. Let them know right now. Yeah, please.
It's on the 1st of August. It's a Saturday, and we'll be live for about 12 hours. So there's plenty of opportunity. If you just pop open the stream at some point, you'll see stuff, and you don't have to pay any money to enter any of the giveaways. It's all free to enter. But every time you do donate, you get extra entries. That does help really sick kids, and that's what it's all about. So we have it as a really fun. There's a lot of banter and just fun randomness that goes on. I don't actually, this time I'm not paying for them. They volunteered their time last time, and this time as well, I'm getting voice actors to be my text-to-speech people. So every time someone donates, they just talk straight over the top of me, just like a normal TTS person would on stream.
Jeez.
And they'll, so I get entertaining personalities to do it. So therefore, it's a bit of a laugh, and people try and make them do tongue twisters and say random stuff, and it's good fun.
That's fantastic. No, looking forward to it. So the 1st of August, and obviously on your Twitch channel, and we'll see more across everything else as well. So guys, make sure you keep an eye out for that. Make sure you're following Pestily on Twitter to keep up to date with it as well. But mate, congratulations on 930 so far, and good luck with 70,000 to go. But when you're doing a stream where it lights up to the point where you're booming past $200,000, what's it like? What's happening? What's the swirl of chaos going on around you at the time?
That stream, that last big one, no word of a lie, I was really anxious before that. I don't get nervous very often, but we organised to get a signed Kobe Bryant jersey as a giveaway prize, which is a pretty massive prize.
It's huge.
And I told Starlight I'll do the best I can. I did everything I could. And leading up to that stream, I was like, what if we don't raise any money? What if we only raise like a few $1,000s? Like, that's the stuff that was going through my head. And then I think in the first like 2 hours, we blew like $100,000. It was well and truly past $100,000, and like it was just, for me, it's like a weight coming off. It's just like you feel like, oh, we've done it. We've finally because to me, I don't know, like I don't know why I'm so passionate about it, but I've always been big on helping people. It's a lot of things I've done in my life has been about helping people, and that's kind of what happened. So at the end of the stream, I always take time to reflect, and it was really nice just to sit there at the end of the stream. No cameras on or anything, and I just sit there and I just have a beer. It's generally one of the only times I drink is after a big stream. I have a beer and I just sit there and I go, "We did good today." Like, and at the end of the day, if my stream goes to crap, I've got no viewers, I have no subs, I'm going back to doing some other job, I can at least say, "Hey, we did some good stuff while it was big," and that's something I'll be able to be proud of for the rest of my life.
Mate, I can't imagine it going backwards from where it is at the moment. But, like everything, there's a life cycle to it. So, but, hopefully many, 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 many years and a long career ahead of you before then. But do you remember the days where you were just starting out and you'd have streams where you were virtually talking into the void?
I was really lucky that my wife could watch my stream from her work. So it was just me and her talking all day. So she'd just be at her work and she'd have the stream open, and I would just play computer games and she'd just be there and chat, and I'd just talk to her, which really does help having someone to talk to. So I
Yeah.
never really just spoke to no one. But so for the first 3 or 4 months, I only had 3 to 5 viewers. Sometimes I got to like 7. And so, yeah, there was days where it was just, me talking to 1 or 2 other people and just talking the entire day. And to be honest, I miss the days of like 30 people. There's a lot, like, the more viewers you have, the more, I guess, I don't
It's
say
hard.
lonely, but
It's harder
you don't have the connection as much.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Because I can imagine someone like you with as many followers and people in chat, especially when you're doing your big marathon runs and stuff like that. Your chat would be going brrrr like
Yeah,
this.
so you're kind of talking to chat and not with chat. And
Yeah.
I always made a big purpose of reading every single message. And there's a lot of people, like a good mate of mine, Slush Puppy, he's still with like anywhere between 300 and 3,000 viewers. He'll still try and read every single message. And it's a lot of work. It's very exhausting. And pretty much most of my moderators that have been around a long time are the ones that were around from 30 viewers. And you have this conversation where you learn where they live, what they do for a living, all the little ins and outs and about their lives, their children, and it's really great. And I started to stream to make friends, and that's, I've made a lot of friends during this period. And unfortunately, the bigger numbers you get, the less you have those intimate conversations where you learn a lot about people. And I still do from time to time, but generally it's other content creators now.
Are people understanding? Like, is chat relatively understanding? Like, because I can
Chat's
imagine,
amazing.
like I've jumped into a few of your streams and I've seen chat, absolutely going off. And like I jump in there and I look at it and I go, well, the guy's like, he's doing his thing and chat's going off. There's no way he's going to be able to read something out loud that I'm going to pop into chat. So you generally find that people are actually quite patient?
Yeah. Chat's generally happy as long as you're answering someone's question.
Yeah.
Because then that way you're still conversing with them. There are a lot of big streamers and that will literally just talk to chat, not with chat. And I totally get that. Because it is very exhausting. And if you read too much into people's messages, sometimes it can be like chipping at your soul a little bit, some of the negativity that can come through. I've got a couple of cheats and anyone can use them. If you want to try and make sure you're answering everyone's questions, the @PESTILY for me, but at your username, or look for question marks. Don't read anything else. It's the secret to getting through a lot of messages. So when there's like, I'll go through all the @PESTILYs and I've read all those ones out, and then I'll go, okay, look for the next question mark, and I'll just go down and there's a question mark. All right, read that question out, and then that way you don't have to read every message, and you don't have to it's like reading a book.
Yeah,
like,
yep, mate. What a bloody great idea. If anybody's got any questions, feel free to drop them in chat. We'll do our absolute best. Hey, you mentioned that you're a guy that you don't quite know why you've dived so far into deep into the charity work, but it's definitely got something to do with the fact you just love helping people. Is that something that you found was very early on and maybe steered you towards being a rifleman in the army? How did that come about?
Yeah, so I come from a big family. I've got my dad had 8 kids, and not all of the same lady. So I got 4 sisters and 3 brothers, but we all call each other's brothers and sisters, and we're all fairly close. Like I call them up every year for their birthdays and stuff like that, or they'll call me up and we'll have a chat from time to time. And I think having a big family really does make you have to look after each other more, because it's just, the things that come with that. And you're also very, like, oh, someone needs help with this, let's go over and help them out, kind of thing. So after, finishing school and that, I wanted to be a firefighter, and I was an idiot. I was drinking one night and I drove home and got caught, and I lost my license to drink driving. Don't do it. But I learned from it. All right. I was drinking a lot of alcohol back that stage, and I didn't really drink much anymore. post that I haven't really drank much.
Were you doing it to deal with something, or was it just I'm out with my mates and we just tend to be out a hell of a lot?
Stupid 21-year-old.
Yeah,
Just a
fair
stupid
enough.
21-year-old.
Yeah, we all do it, man.
I wasn't like massively over. I was 0.08. So in some countries that's legal, right? But it's still not acceptable. And so yeah, once you lose your license to drink driving, firefighters they will not recruit you at all for 10 years. So literally after that happened, I said, I still want to do something for the community. So I said I'll be in the army, and I wanted to go special forces, but I actually was a reservist before that for a little bit of time, and I knew kind of how to get into special forces. Wasn't direct entry. It was actually go as an infantryman, learn the ropes, work hard, and then use those skills to get across. So that's the path I went down, and I did 8 years.
Mate, that sounds like special forces to me. And I don't know how much you got a glimpse into it throughout your 8 years as doing what you were in the army at the time. But did you ever come close? And is it as brutal as they make it look in the movies?
I think movies glorify everything, but
yeah.
it's pretty brutal. So I attempted selection, but I kept getting injured in the lead up. So there's testing before you go for selection, and I did it once, and the other time I was actually injured when I attempted it, and I just pretty much said this is not going to happen. As you get older, it's harder on your body, and my body was pretty stuffed up from the army. So the thing about special forces is it's not just physical, it's mental, and you got to have the mindset that you're willing to do what needs to be done and put whatever you have to into it to do it. So it's very difficult. It's not just as simple as like you just rock up and you're a good bloke, you're going to be able to make it. You're hard, physically fit. There's a lot of physically fit people that don't make it past the first few days.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But for me, it's always been about pushing the limits. So I've done some stupid stuff in my life. Like I would not suggest doing this ever, but even before I joined the army, mates and I, a particular mate and I would always be like, all right, we're going to do something crazy today. And like, and if you're from Australia and you know Torquay, there's like some pretty massive waves and that you can have down there and swells and that. And we'd just swim out to like a buoy that's ages out during like a storm kind of thing and swim back. We used to do so much stupid stuff. I wouldn't do any of that anymore because I'd just go missing. But I always just had this mentality is I always wanted to know what my limits were and what it felt to do stuff.
Yeah.
Which I know is a pretty crazy mentality to have. But it's the same with like doing a long stream. So I've done my longest stream's 44.5 hours, but the longest I've stayed awake is 3 days, and I've done that 3 times. So that was in the army because there's defensive operations training and stuff you do where you stay awake for 3 days straight. So when you know you can stay awake for 3 days, then two days streaming is actually easy because you're not digging a hole at the same time. You're just talking to chat. So it's for me, everything I ever do is always to learn the experience. I saw a streamer do 10 hours of IAR on stream, and I was like, I wonder what that's like. So IAR is like an anime where it's like, anyway, it's just really repetitive.
Yeah, okay.
So I did it for a bit of a charity event. It didn't go overly well. It went all right, but I had it as like donation goals. The more people donate, the longer I go for.
Yeah.
But I did 7.5 hours of it. But I just kind of wanted to see what it felt like. And a lot of people wouldn't do that. A lot of people would be just like, nah, I wouldn't do 15 minutes, let alone 10 hours.
Mate, so this, I just want to go back to, you mentioned 3 days straight, right, staying awake. Now, the longest stint that I've done is 27 hours straight. We did it like earlier in this year where we actually stayed on the air on our breakfast radio show here in Perth on Hit 92.9 for 27 hours straight. And it was the boss's stupid idea, and we're like, well, what's the worst that could happen? Fine, we'll do it. And I reckon I'm the guy who pushes the buttons, and I anchor the show as well as being a co-host and bringing content and all of that sort of stuff. So I'm the one who has to keep the show on the right track. And I reckon it got to around about 2 o'clock in the morning, and I swear to God, I was hallucinating, just trying to get us through and just trying to get the other guys through and stuff. What happens over 3 days straight of staying awake? Do you even remember something like that off the back of it?
So there's different stages. So initially, the place you'll be most tired, in my opinion, is generally around the time you wake up. So for you, you probably get up around, I don't know, 4 a.m. If you do breakfast radio, probably 4 or 5 a.m.
Spot on.
So
4
that
a.m.
stint between like maybe 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. would be the hardest part for you, because your body's like usually been asleep for that period and you're meant to be waking up, but you're already like really tired. You get like second wind. So usually that time of the day is the worst. And at the 48-hour mark is apparently when the hallucinations actually are meant to kick in. And then at the, like, you shouldn't really push past 72 hours. That's why the army stops there. But it's one of those things where you just, it's kind of like your body just, as long as you don't sap it too much of energy, you're fine. So as long as you keep eating, keep drinking and all that, you'll be fine for up to a certain point. And then your body starts saying, no, you shouldn't be awake anymore.
Yeah.
And it isn't healthy, but there's a lot of things that are in life that are unhealthy. Like when people are like, oh, you should be asleep. You've been awake for 30 hours. I'm like, yeah, but I haven't drank alcohol in 3 weeks and you've probably had like 4 slabs in that time.
Yeah.
And I don't smoke and I don't do any recreational drugs and stuff. So if my toxic thing that I do is staying awake from like every now and then, I mean every 3 or 4 months, I stay awake for a long period of time. That's not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, 100%. It's not the worst thing in the world. 44 and a half hours. Was that the Tarkov stream?
There was the first day of drops. It was so annoying. I woke up it was like the 29th of December or 30th of December. I woke up and I was like meant to do a podcast that day.
Yeah.
And I messaged my mates saying, we're not doing the podcast. I'm just in the worst mood. I can't be bothered today. And I started my stream and I didn't even know what the drops were. And the drops started and my channel just blew up. Like at that point, I normally sat between 3,000 and 5,000 viewers. And I was just like, an hour in and I was at 15,000, and like another hour later I was at 25,000. I was just like, this is nuts.
Mate, didn't you at some point cross 100K? Because I remember this, the first time I heard Pestily, believe it or not, was not the Australian Game Awards where you took away, was it breakout content creator of the year, was it?
Yep.
Right, okay. So the first time that I heard your name was in the weeks after that stream, and people were reaching out to me and saying, have you heard of Pestily? You've got to get him on the show. You've got to have a chat to this guy. He's the most famous Tarkov streamer. Yada, yada, yada. He's just done 50 odd hours live straight. That was when it was. So was that your moment? And we'll come back to the army and the fire and stuff in a tick. But was that your breakout moment?
I guess so, yes. A lot of people will see that as the moment that my stream really took off, which is true, it is. But it wasn't what made my channel. The channel was already fully established by that point. There's some people that are overnight successes, and good on them. But I definitely worked hard up until that point and put myself in a position that if Tarkov was to get really popular, that I would be part of that success. So with that big stream, that's when Tarkov started getting really popular on Twitch and more people started flocking over to Tarkov. And that stream went for 44 and a half hours. And it was actually my wife's birthday on New Year's Eve. Oh. And so we pushed back her birthday, but she understands. She's my boss. Yeah. So we pushed her birthday celebration back a bit. But that week I streamed 130 hours, I think, in a week. It was a lot.
Yeah.
It was 17 or 18-hour days every day on average, but I did like 44 hours and then I think it was like 3 or 4 18-hour streams and I finished on a 24-hour stream. So it was a very busy week.
Mate, Tarkov must love you. Surely you like that from that moment on. Tarkov must have been, I don't know if it's sliding into your DMs or reaching out to you going, hey, what's going on? Like let's work together and all that sort of stuff.
I've had conversations with the lead dev for a fair while now. I probably interviewed him about 6 months before that. So for me, it was already had a relationship with him, but after that point, I think it kind of really positioned me very well with Tarkov and Battlestate Games, who makes it, and the Twitch category for Escape from Tarkov. Like, I don't claim I'm not the best at the game. I'm just very knowledgeable, and I just try and keep a really positive attitude community.
Yep.
You know, and I try and teach people to have fun with gaming and not focus on being too serious, because so much shit in the world's so serious these days. It's just have a place to just distract yourself and enjoy life, not always be about being the best.
Mate, you have to be more than just being the best as well. Being the best can only take you so far until somebody else is the best, you know. So there's got to be something else there. But I loved what you said about, you know, you had that breakout stream, but you'd already built something up until that point. And if there's content creators who are watching this right now, take note of that, because it's something that I tell the people that I mentor along the way, right? And the metaphor that I use is, it's like when you're window shopping, right? And you walk up to a shop and it's all shiny and awesome on the window, and you think, oh, okay, this looks pretty cool, I might go inside. And you open the door and it's shit house inside. And so you close the door and you never go back there again. And that's the overnight success, where they haven't built something up until that point. Whereas you're the guy where you open the door, you've had this breakout stream, there's your front window, you open the door, oh my God, here's this long career of creating content. I'm actually going to stay in this shop for a little while and hang out and join this community and all that sort of stuff. How's the community going? It must be thriving.
It is. A lot of people would say this, the line came for the drop, stayed for the community. That's very common in my stream. You're right. But the thing about making up a community in a stream, it doesn't happen overnight. You have to build a place where people will feel welcome and they want to come back, and they've got a reason to come back. It's not just as simple as having a good quality stream. There's so much involved. If someone messages me on Discord, I respond.
Yep.
Unless it's like, sometimes there's trash messages, you know what I mean by that, like, you know, trolling or inviting me to another Discord and that. But like any genuine actual message, I always respond. And I'm trying to get through my Instagram messages, but that's nearly impossible. But it's like I allocate a portion of my day where I just try and respond to all the messages I can and get in and get involved in the community. It's not just about being a figurehead. So going back to the very point of why I started streaming to make friends. Now I try and facilitate a community where other people can make friends and play games together, because we've all got one thing in common. We all like Tarkov, or at least at some point we have. Mm-hmm. And then if you can find other people to enjoy games with too, awesome.
Yep, 100%, mate. Couldn't agree more.
And that's what makes a strong community, in my opinion.
Going back to, so rifleman in the army, you did 8 years there, and then you did end up getting into the fire service, yeah?
I did. So after I quit the army, I still wanted to do something for the community. So we moved out to a place called Wallaroo, which is an hour and a half out of Adelaide on the coast. And they had a paid fire station there, where it's part of the MFS, which is Metropolitan Fire Service, but they do it part-time. So it's kind of like reserves in the army. You do one night's training a week, and then when the job's on, the job's on. You literally get a pager and you get a text message saying there's a job. You got 10 minutes to get to the station and get inside and get in the truck and start going. So I signed up, did all my training, and I worked for about 3 months, and then my wife's job got moved from the country back to the city. So I had to quit. So that's when I went full-time streaming.
Two things about the fire station. Did it have a pole? Yes or no? It didn't have a pole, bugger. Two, in that 3 months, did you actually ever have to go and fight some fires?
I put out a rubbish bin that was on fire. I guess that counts. But before I finished my training, before I finished my training, we actually had a big house fire. It was I don't know if it was arson in the end, but there was a full house fire. And because there wasn't very many house fires that you would get, we because I wasn't allowed to go out there and work, I still went there with the other guy that was still in training, and we actually just helped out in the background, just like not officially.
Yeah.
But like, you know, so we actually got this. And then after I went through the scene and they explained how they all did it all, and it was really informative. I don't think that's allowed, and hopefully no one from, you know, up higher, you know, finds out about that. But my bosses were cool. Because I was ex-service, it was like I had common sense about me. I knew what I should and shouldn't be doing. It wasn't just I was some random first day, you know, guy. I'd been there 6 months plus. They had trust in me to do the right thing.
Yeah. Hey, if you're watching this right now, what happens on Twitch stays on Twitch. Okay, it doesn't
Yeah.
make it any way past there. So you say you're not the world's best Tarkov player, but you are a good one. You are into your FPS and all that sort of stuff. Did you actually find skills that you learned as a rifleman in the army you could transfer across the FPS games, or was it a bit vice versa? Like what influenced what?
A common question I get, and I do believe there is some sort of understanding that you just subliminally know. Like, for example, like you shouldn't be sticking your head up on top of a hill because the hill would like be like that, and you'd be this thing standing on top of the hill, standing out, right?
Yeah.
Whereas some people might not think about that. So positioning on where you actually do stuff, and in the army, it's a very common tactic to flank. It's like one of the main textbook things you should do as a section commander. If you got the opportunity to do a flank, you should. And I try and do that every time I get in a fight. Take some shots, get them to look in one spot, run back a little bit, and then go to a side and shoot from the side. But it's all just about repositioning there. So most people that actually play a lot of first-person shooters would still do tactics like that. But I think it's just been more ingrained into me that those tactics work. At least they tend to.
Now, you've wrapped up the fire service. You mentioned that the missus got a job in the city, so it was time to wrap things up. And that was the moment when you said, "I'm going to try my hand at being a full-time content creator." Like anybody who's a content creator knows, surely it's not just as simple as, "I'm done here. I've been doing this for ages. I'm going to try my hand at being a full-time content creator." Was there something in the back of your mind for a long time, actually sort of knocking you in your brain, going, "Mate, you should give this a shot. I know you're doing this right now, but why don't you give this a shot?"
I streamed for 4 months just as for fun. So when I quit the army, I saved up a bit of money and I was like, I'm going to just play computer games, make friends, and I'll just do it for 3 or 4 months and live off my savings and my wife's income just to demilitarize myself, to reinsert myself back into society. And at the end of that 4 months, I actually sat down with my wife and made a plan. I said, all right, I want to give content creation 2 years. And this wasn't when I was doing it completely full time, but I definitely took it serious. This is when I was still firefighting. So 2 years, and at the end of 2 years, we'll reevaluate if we want to continue. Because in that first 4 months, like I was only holding 10 concurrent viewers, but I had probably 15 subs. There was like some donations coming in from time to time. We understood the mechanics behind it.
Yep.
But I also identified very early the power of YouTube and how well YouTube can bolster a discoverability. It really is the easiest way, in my opinion, to get discovered on Twitch is actually to have a solid YouTube channel. And the diversity across that is even better for me now. Like technically, I could survive off my YouTube channel and play full variety on Twitch if I wanted to now.
Unreal. How long you been doing your YouTube channels for?
The same day I took Twitch serious was the same day I took YouTube serious, and that was the 1st of Feb 2018. So just under 2.5 years now. It took a while to get YouTube going, by the way. 100 videos before I got any traction. And in those 100 videos, I made first 500 videos I made myself on top of streaming 200 hours a month.
Jeez.
And I had no life for that first 2 years. But I worked hard and I'm reaping the benefits of it now.
So when you say traction, what was traction in your mind? Once you knocked over that first 100 videos and you started to see traction, what did that actually look like?
So I was probably getting 10 subs a day and maybe 100 views a day. And then when that about that 100th video point kicked in, I got like 5,000 subs in like a week.
Jesus.
And so then that's when it started really getting, and I got more views every day. It was like it was, if you look at the scale, it goes up like on a scale. It's just getting more and more popular. Even today, like I think the last month I got 7 million views, and that's insane. Like that's a lot of views for a YouTube.
How does that compare? How does that compare to your Twitch channel?
It's hard to compare.
Like more there or more on YouTube?
See, like Twitch is concurrent. Like you got someone watching constantly. I don't really look at how many individual views I get. I think on Twitch, I've got like maybe 25 million views in total.
Yep.
But a lot of those people will click on my channel once and watch it for like 6 to 8 hours at a time.
Jesus.
Whereas like you can't watch one video for 6 to 8 hours.
Yeah.
I don't have any videos that long.
Yeah.
So they'd have to click on multiple videos. And YouTube has a bigger audience, so therefore people will be more likely to go to a YouTube channel for a guide, watch the guide, and then, not need to go to a Twitch channel and hang out.
Yeah. Your YouTube channel, you're up at past 200,000 subs now, or is it more than that? Whereabouts are you at?
I think it's just under 300,000 now.
Just under 300,000.
283.
Now, I've seen the pictures. YouTube sends you a cheeky little thing when you hit your first 100,000. They send you a little plaque. How does that? What happens there? Because I've never been spoken to someone who's got over 100,000. Other than Champ Chong, actually, I speak to Champ Chong a fair bit, but I don't actually. I've never actually asked him this question. Do they get in touch with you and ask for your address and say, "Hey, can we send this thing out to you?" How do you get a hold of that little plaque?
So when you get to 100,000, you're meant to get a button that pops up like an alert, and you click the alert, and then you fill out the details, and then they send you one.
Yeah.
That didn't happen for me, and I was over 200,000 subs, and I was talking about it on my Twitch channel, and a YouTube rep was in my channel.
Oh, you're joking!
Me and said, "I'm a YouTube rep," because I was complaining I never got my plaque, and a mate of mine had a plaque.
Yeah.
And he got like 100,000 well after me, and I was so annoyed about it. And he just said, "Oh, I'll chase this up." And then I got a message from YouTube saying that it was a mistake. But you meant to just have a button pop up, and then you just fill out the code. It's like like one of those, so it can't be a bot.
Yeah.
And then you just fill out that stuff and put in your address and what name you want on it. Like you could pretty much put whatever name you want, I think.
Yeah. Was he apologetic? Like were you full on going them at the time or what?
Oh, I was in my normal band. I was at my banter. Like, this is bullshit. I got Veritas back here. Got 100,000 like well after me. He's been posting Instagram pictures and he's got it in his background of his Twitch channel. And here am I, 220,000 subs, and I still don't have a plaque.
Oh, mate, that's gold. And when it rocks up, so obviously the plaque looks nice. What does it come in? Does it come in a nice box?
A nice box.
Yeah, felt around it, or what? Like, what does it look like?
No, it's like a thick box, so that way it can't get damaged. Yep. And then it's just like an inside. It's just like a normal black box that has like the foam stuff in it, like the soft foam. And then it's actually got like a hand signed card saying this was inspected by this member of YouTube to ensure that it's good quality. If there's any issues, you can contact him on this email address. And then it says,
oh wow.
It says if you want multiple of this, you can buy them at this address or something.
So you can actually you can purchase them if you manage to hit that milestone.
Yeah, I think it's so like I could send them to my editors, for example, because I've only just recently taken on editors. But if I get to 1 million and they've helped me get to that 1 million, if I wanted to get an extra one to send to my editors, I think I could do that too.
Yeah, okay, gotcha. That's wicked, man. Hey, you mentioned your wife is essentially she's your boss. Or not essentially, or she is your boss. What do you mean she's your boss? Does she manage all the admin side of everything? Does she manage the bookings and all of that sort of stuff?
So up until a few months back, we were a 2-person show. So my wife would handle everything from accounting, emails, any sort of random admin stuff, organizing a graphic designer to make something for me. Whatever it was, she was the one working in the background, and then I would try and help when I could because I obviously stream 200 hours a month plus making YouTube videos is very exhausting. Sorry.
All good.
But up until recently, we've actually brought on other people to help us, and including editors. And now, so her job is to manage those people and the accounting and finances side of making sure they get paid. And then I have the other people help by doing the other stuff. And so the dream is I literally just make content.
Yeah.
I stream, I film stuff for YouTube, jump on podcasts. I can just have fun and do what I love doing. And then that way I'm not tired from, sorting emails and replying 10s or 20s of emails. And, you get the point. So it's more me to focus on enjoying what I'm doing.
Yeah.
How
far off are you from the dream? Or that dream in particular?
Pretty much there now.
Yeah, wicked.
That's awesome. Why I've switched my schedule to a 4-day streaming schedule. It was part of, do we go flat stick forever, or do I tape it back a little bit now, put a little bit more focus onto YouTube? So for now, we're trying it out for the next few months. I stream 4 days a week. I film YouTube content and do other admin 2 days a week, and I get a full day off to just go enjoy myself. go spend some time with the wife, and that.
That's important though, right? Like I totally get the fact that you can't. And for me, like in Brekkie Radio, you have to mine your life for content. So you have to actually get your ass into gear and go out and experience things and do things. But what I found through that was that if you are a content creator in general, you need to just get the hell out from away from your screen and refresh and experience life and go and enjoy yourself. Because otherwise you end up mentally killing yourself to a degree.
I think to some respects, I actually did the math the other day. The first year of my streaming, after I took it seriously, I took 43 days off for the whole year.
Yep.
So I streamed every other day of the year. So that was 313 days.
Yep.
And the second year I took off 36 days, and that included 4 days to get married and 6 days to go on a honeymoon. So if it wasn't for those, and I went to PAX, so there's another 4 days. So there was a couple of little events that I had to take time off for. So when you take out those events like married, honeymoon, and going to a convention, there's not like I pretty much streamed every other day.
Yeah, yep, fair enough. So here we are this far down the track. I've just heard this will be interesting because I don't know whether or not I've got 2 young girls. I've got 2 little daughters, and I just heard the garage start to come up. So my wife's picked them up from my parents' house. So they'll either be zonked out and asleep in the back of the car, or we're going to have a couple of little bombers in just a moment. Your wife, did she understand what it was that you were doing? Was she a gamer and into content creation, all that sort of stuff as well, or like did you expose
I included
it
her very early.
Yeah.
So she made my logo. I said, "This is what I want to do," and I pitched the idea to her. Said I wanted to play computer games and just de-stress, make some friends, and just give this a go. And then it's a lot easier once money starts coming in. But to give perspective, it took 5 months to make $100 on Twitch for me. Jeez. Like it wasn't like I went, bam, I'm making money. Yeah. 5 months to make, because you have to make $100 on Twitch to get your first Twitch payment, and it took ages to make money on YouTube. Like I'm talking, it would have been because it took about 3 months to get 100 videos to get actual traction. Then I got the actual, monetization, and then monetization took like an extra 2 months. It was probably like 7 months to make $1 on YouTube.
Far out.
So it took a lot of hard work, and so you have to include your partner into getting to that point, because otherwise they're going to be looking at you like, why are you wasting your time?
Yeah.
And they have to understand that it is actually growing. And, when you finally get to the point where hey, I'm actually at minimum wage now. This is actually all right. Yeah. And then you're like, oh, I'm actually making what I made when I was in the army. So it's pretty cool when you actually finally do get to that point, but it's daunting and it's hard work, and you need to include the people that you care about in the process. Otherwise, it's never going to work.
Yeah,
because my wife has given up a lot of time with me. The beauty is my wife likes reading books and her own personal time as well.
Oh,
so
great.
She'll go and read a book for a day, and she'll be happy. She doesn't need to have me there all the time. If you have I don't want to say a needy partner, but if your partner needs you in their life all the time, you're probably not going to make it as a content creator.
Mate,
unless they want to stream with you.
Oh, mate, I understand that totally. Hey. Speaking of partners and stuff, mine's just walked in, and I think she'd attest to the fact that you have to be an incredibly understanding partner if the person that you're with is in content creation or content in general or entertainment or any of that sort of stuff. Hey, babe.
Yeah.
Yep. There you go.
Because it's
yes
not
answer.
a 9 to 5.
No, it's never
not. Been,
you don't turn off.
A Tarkov patch could come out tonight. Legitimately could be coming out tonight, and instead of me going to bed, I'll be up playing the patch and then making a YouTube video after it, and I'll get to bed at 4 a.m.
Yep.
That's it. It's not a matter of just and because if I don't, other content creators are going to have that content, they're going to be putting out YouTube videos, and I'm already a day behind.
Yeah.
That's just
and if you're up until 4 a.m., that's the other thing, right? You're up until 4 a.m., you've knocked that content over, but it's not as if you can automatically just go, okay, I was up till 4 a.m., so I'll sleep in and I'll take the rest of the day off and yada, yada, yada. Because it doesn't work like that. You have to keep the momentum up, right? Or are you one of those people who just goes, nah, stuff it, I'll get back to it tomorrow?
I can, but I don't. So it's kind of like this. Everyone kind of has a point in which they feel like they've made it, right? So like some people treat it as when they hit partner. You'll see them; they'll get to partner, and then they'll start going full variety. I've made it as a Twitch streamer, and they're happy, and that's good for them. For me, I kind of just like taking pride in doing the best job I possibly can, and that's why I work as hard as I do. It's not to be better than anyone else. It's not to it's really just I take a large pride in what I do. So when new content comes out, I want to be putting out the best content that people can get straight away, and they can rely on it. A podcast happens that's from the developers. I watch the podcast. I make notes on it. I make a YouTube video straight after it with video footage and imagery from the podcast. So then people don't have to watch a 2-hour podcast. They've got a high quality, usually around a 15 to 20-minute video summarizing the 2 hours, and they get all the information they want.
Yeah.
And I take pride in doing that, and people know they can come to me for that.
Oh, here we go. It's begun. Do you want to say hello? So come here. This is where the stream gets our regular viewers and stuff knows that this is roughly around about the time that the stream gets quite wholesome. So say hi, Pestily.
Hi, Pestily.
How are you?
How are you?
This is Mila, by the way. Oh,
Hello.
There we go. No, that. I'd really appreciate that. Jeez, here we go. Now, what else did I have down here that I wanted to cover off tonight? Can I have that sheet of paper, please? Thank you. That's very kind of you. I appreciate that. Mate, what's next for you? And once you sort of climb the mountain of raising a million, where do you go from there?
I don't really know where I'm going with the charity stuff. I've got a really, really, really cool idea I don't want to announce yet, because I don't know the logistics behind it and how crazy it would be to do it. So the charity side of things, I'm doing the charity event this weekend. I'm going to do a big one at the end of the year, and that's going to be where I'm at with that. And then next year, I don't know exactly the process I'm going to go with, but it'll be something. It's going to be something to do with Starlight most likely, but I've still got to work it out. The stream itself, I actually want to get outside more. So when I get back to Australia, whenever that is, I'll be buying a really nice fishing boat, and I'll be covering it full of cameras, and I'm actually going to fish on stream for probably 1 or 2 days a week. Yep.
You ripper.
So
is the plan to head back to Adelaide, or because you're originally from Victoria, yeah?
Yeah. So initially, I think we'll go back to Adelaide, mostly because we know it and my wife's family's there. But I'll be doing really high production quality fishing streams. It's going to be interesting. I'm really interested to see how it goes. It should be really well. A lot of people are really excited to see it, so I'm excited that they're excited as well. And I'm not a good fisherman either. Like I'm talking, I've done some fishing, but I don't know what I'm doing.
Mate, please keep me updated. Like I'll fly out and come to wherever I have to jump on that boat for a bit of it. So my family's been in fresh seafood for 30 years. Mate, fishing is in the blood.
Yeah.
It's we absolutely love it. So and when I was like looking at things like, you know, the fact that you're into fishing, you're into your 4-wheel driving and you're outdoors and all that sort of stuff, I was like, oh man after my own heart. Because if we could spend every weekend out in the boat fishing and crabbing and off the back of Rottnest, and then every other weekend 4-wheel driving on the beach and all that sort of stuff, we'd be in absolute heaven. Is it? Have you got a 4-wheel driving stuff, or a decent enough car to get you out and about in the Netherlands where you are at the moment? Have you gone exploring out there or fishing
there's
out
not really
there?
much forward driving over here. Fishing wise, there's plenty of fishing to do, but I kind of wanted to tee up doing some charters. But at the moment, it's kind of like that whole industry is kind of just tourism is just not existent right now. So back in Australia, we've got a little Suzuki Grand Vitara, which has been pimped out for 4-wheel driving. So that's like a little hobby one we've got, but we might get something a bit nicer later on. It's so funny. Like I want to be outdoorsy and all that, and all I do is play computer games. But it is true. Like I do want to transition a part of my stream to outside, and I understand there's risks involved in that, and I think a lot of people do get really paranoid about the future of their channels and that. But I kind of feel like I don't really care so much as long as I'm happy. And if I'm happy, then the people that care about my stream will be happy too. So they'll still get their content on YouTube for Tarkov or gaming, and then they'll still see gaming 2-3 days a week. They should also see some fishing once a week if they're interested.
Yeah, 100%. Mate, and I'm sure they will, because if you've been building a community to the point where you have, and they're invested in you and in your life in general, then they'll be invested in everything else that comes with it. And to me, it just sounds like that, you know, the big fishing streams and stuff like that are just another evolution of your stream and where it goes. You know, I'm really excited to see it. I'm pumped.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited. I kind of want to come back to Australia early to start it, because we're sitting around a lot in the Netherlands, not really getting out much. And it's like, I could just come back to Australia and just start working on this boat. You know, like that's the mentality, but there's so much more than that. It's now with all the quarantine issues and, you know, it's 2 weeks quarantine when you fly back into Australia into a hotel, and that's a headache in itself. And because I either have to have good enough internet in the hotel to stream, or I'm going to be sitting there not streaming for 2 weeks, and I've never taken 2 weeks off ever. You know, so that's a stress in itself. And yeah, it's one of those things.
Mate, there was a little chat that you and I had, and Reflex, if you're in chat right now, mate, if you could just give us a hello. There was a little chat that you and I had in Twitter DMs where you were kind enough to say, yeah, please, absolutely, would love to. I've got a good friend of ours. He's our tournament officer. He goes by Reflex, and he was just frothing. Like when I said to them that, yep, we've got Pestily, he's agreed to come on the show, he just absolutely lost his mind, and it would make his, sorry about this, it would make his day and his night and probably the rest of his year, to be honest with you, if he could join us on this video right now and have a quick hello and say hello. Is that okay? Can we get him in?
Go for it.
All right, hang on a sec. Let's see here. I've just got to muck around with a couple of things. There it is. All right. Gonna add him in here. Now, Reflex, if you are listening and watching this right now, no funny business, okay? Because I know what you can be like.
Alright, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, where are we? There we go.
Right. 3, 2, 1. Whoa!
Are you right there, young lady? Are you taking photos of all of this?
Mama, now let's take photos.
The camera working? There.
Jeez, that didn't take you
How's it
long,
going, mate?
Reflex.
Oh, I just wanted to get in here and say, me misbehave? No, never.
Gee, far out.
Never do that.
This is Reflex. Everybody say hello to Reflex. He's our tournament officer at Game On Australia, mate. Reflex, this is it. Here you go. This is your moment, mate. This is your moment to shine.
And it'll be just my chance that the net goes down. Pestily, I'm on it. Very, very nice. Very happy to meet you. I've been following you for a very, very long time. If you don't mind, I won't take too much time because it is 10:30 here and my wife's annoyed I'm up as it is. I've got 5 questions for you, if that's cool. I won't take too long. First question is, what are your thoughts on the Streets of Tarkov trailer, and you being so close with the developers at Battlestate and Nikita? Did you have any input on the design or decisions for it?
So the Streets of Tarkov trailer, for anyone who doesn't know, goes for about 40 seconds after you take out the music and the outro bit. It looks really exciting. Their ambition is to get 40 players involved in that map, which I think is pretty crazy. And if it goes to plan, it's probably going to be the most popular map because it's going to be very multi-level. Like it's going to be a very complex map, and complex maps bring in the best firefights because you got different angles to cover in it, and it's going to be really, really hard work. I'm very excited for it, but I'm always hesitant with new content. Like I'm always like, because in the gaming industry, more and more, it's like you get hyped for something and then you get let down, and it's kind of been happening a lot in general, but Battlestate games nearly always delivers to the most point. As for the input in the map itself, I don't have any real input into the game at all. Besides, sometimes, like there's a more controversial one on a podcast recently where I actually asked for an ammunition to be more expensive, and a lot of negative feedback from that one. But I actually try and just focus on bug reporting and fixing issues in the game, or streamlining some of the progression in the game. So a good example is there's a lot of quests that are found in raid items that are really difficult to find. And I made a list of all the really hard ones and said, Nikita, could you make these crafts in the hideout? And then he went and made them all crafts in the hideout. So that's a perfect example.
Graphics cards and stuff as well, yeah?
Yeah, so graphics cards, VPXs, RFIDs.
Thank you.
all those kind of really hard to find items are now generally being able to be crafted in a hideout. And that's the kind of input I focus on. And then when I see a serious unbalanced item, I have made comments in the past, even though it's not the most popular one. I found an ammunition to be very cheap for how powerful it was, and I thought it should be increased in price, but it was a lot of negative backlash of streamer privilege on that one.
Of course. And how do you feel about the coffee beans?
Dr. Lupo's coffee beans. I got really lucky and found them very early on. So it wasn't really difficult for me. The plague mask took me a bit longer, and Nikita increased it like 4 or 5 times the chance of spawning.
Oh, wow. And it still
yeah,
took a while.
It took me, I think, about 10 hours of farming scabs on factory, I think it was.
That's quite a bit. So just moving on, cautious of time. During the 2 weeks of the Tarkov drops you had running, I'd just like to point out that I didn't just have you up and leave you on just for the drops. If I was playing,
dust.
I did, but
Bull
come on.
Bullshit.
Yeah, all right. No. If I wasn't playing, I was definitely following what you were doing and picking up and just learning about what you were doing, and it's very informational. I'd just like to give you a personal thank you for my final drop being 10 bars of chocolate and nothing impressive. So thank you for that.
That's all right.
Moving on, having read the roadmap, there are plans for a PvP arena kind of setup in the game. Is this something you'd be interested in, or more of a raid runner kind of player yourself?
I actually think, like, if you asked me that 2 years ago, I said the arena is the thing I'm most hyped for. Because I used to be only playing Factory a lot. Factory is the smallest map in the game, and it's nearly instant PvP action. And I used to play that all day, full streams. I used to just play Factory. And it was one of the things I used to love the most. I think it's got its place now with how competitive gaming is, that a lot of competitive players will want to play in there and have an MMO or a matchmaking system where it's like, what's your rank and all that stuff. I will play it, but I think what will end up happening is I'll just, play it for a bit of fun. But I think it's kind of that side of things where if you take, as soon as I get serious, I get angry, and so I don't want to get too competitive with that. Yeah. So, and the perfect example is the Code Red tournament, which was ran by like Dr. Disrespect's crew, where you had to like go into raids. Every dog tag you got was worth a certain value, and then the amount of money you had at the end was decided the winner. And I got disconnected 3 times during it, and I couldn't connect to a server for an hour, and you could see the frustration where I wanted to throw my mouse, and I haven't had that kind of frustration in a long time. And it's why my competitive scene's just like not existent anymore. I used to be very competitive in Half-Life Deathmatch, and I was one of the best in Australia for that game. And I used to get very angry back those days, and I don't anymore. So
I think a fair bunch of people in the chat would definitely agree that frustration at Valve products is definitely up there. Definitely. Yeah. And just because it is the 5th question, and I would kick myself for asking, and I know a lot of my friends, especially from my stream community and everything, are here in chat watching at the moment. Can we play together sometime?
I don't like to duo a lot. I don't like to duo a lot. So generally, I'm a socially awkward person. Like, I am a little bit. Most people who play computer games don't really. We're not like the most, like, we go out and just talk to people all day, every day. It's a lot easier when you're the streamer and you talk to your chat, or with your chat, because you don't really, you can pick the questions and they kind of flow. When I get put into a conversation where I'm just like randomly put with someone and they're like, oh, you should play with this person. Like I remember the first time I played with Summit, I was nervous because I didn't know what to talk about. I didn't care about playing the game. The game was easy. It's like, oh shit, now I'm with Summit.
Yeah,
So
you're in the
Summit,
same room as him. Yeah.
what did you do on the weekend? Like,
how was lunch? Yeah.
like that's the issue I have with duos. It's actually nothing to do with the people or with doing duos itself. Like duos can be really fun and really successful in Tarkov. I just don't know what to say. It's like, and I really should just have like a little cheat sheet of like like a dating cheat sheet. Like, so
Well, if you want to date me, just ask. It's fine.
Oh, okay. My wife might have an issue with that, but so yeah, well, if you, I'll play duos with you sometime. You seem like a cool dude, and we could have a conversation about random shit. So it doesn't really make too big a deal. But
just be careful. Just all I'm saying is be careful.
And I'm banned from Twitch. Thank you.
Hey man, I've still got my Twitch, and I'm still going affiliated for 2 years. Let's do this.
Fair enough.
It's about the fun.
Flexi, you beautiful man. Just really quickly. Actually, no, what I'll do is I'll wrap things up with this great bloke over here in Pestily.
Sounds good.
And then we've got to catch up a couple of things with our community about what's coming up very soon as well. So we're going to be to have anyway.
Sounds good to me.
Anything else, mate? Any other awkward questions you'd like to pose live?
Well, now you put it that way. No, I'll flick your message sometime. Pleasure to meet you, and thank you very much. And look forward to seeing you on your next stream.
No worries. Thanks, mate.
Love you,
Have a
mate.
good night.
See you, mate.
Cheers, Ed. Bye.
He is one of the best, one of the greats going around, mate. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. He's a legend, absolute legend. As have you have been. So, mate, I don't even know where to begin to say thank you for your time tonight. I really genuinely appreciate it. It's been an absolutely awesome chat. Could do this for, I reckon, 44 and a half odd hours. So maybe one day might have to try. But the thing that I'd really want to leave you with is good luck, in raising that other $70,000 for the Starlight Children's Foundation on the way to $1 million. I mean, no doubt you'll get there. But even, God forbid, it doesn't happen. Far out, mate. You've raised over 900 grand.
Dude, I'm proud of what I've done.
Oh, you should be. Back at the beginning of this chat when you were saying, kind of nervous, didn't know what we were going to hit. Maybe it was going to be a couple of $100 and stuff. There's sick kids out there that this research is going to that a couple of $100 does a world of good, and you've gone well above that off your own back. So. The community thanks you, and good on you, and all the best with everything yet to come your way. Let's stay in touch, and mate, when you get back into the country and you start doing those boating streams, let's go on a couple. That'll be an absolute ripper.
Yeah, I've actually got to figure out how I'm going to do that, because there's actually a fair few people interested, and I was like, maybe we had like celebrity, like the guest of the week for the boat or something like that. So we'll have to work it out. But awesome, it does sound fun. It does, because fishing is like really enjoyable, just to do it by yourself or with people. So it's one of those things. Just treat it like a podcast, really.
100%. And next time you're in Perth, well, let me know when you're in town, mate, and we'll take you out the back of Rottnest Island and do a bit of fishing out there as well.
We're going to Youngbloods.
Youngbloods.
The YouTube channel for fishing.
Oh, it rings a bell. Mate, no.
Oh my God. You got to watch them.
Really? Who are these guys? Hit me with them.
And they're north of you, just north on WA coast.
You're joking.
Youngblood, YBS, 1.97 million subscribers now. He only hit 1 million subscribers like a couple of months ago.
Oh, mate,
I reckon it would have been like maybe 5 months ago.
Youngblood.
Really, really entertaining YouTube channel. He just does fishing.
Yep.
And sometimes he has an attractive lady on there. They use clickbait title and thumbnail, but the content's there. It's like one flash of a girl, and then the rest of it's all fishing. So if you're into fishing,
it sounds like that. And I don't know if you used to pick up the magazines, but I think it's Western Angler or Fishing Australia in one of them, and every single one of them used to have the front cover was a broad, like in a bikini or something, holding a fish. And, she just caught something that obviously somebody else had just put into her hands.
So Sports Illustrated.
Exactly right. And then that was it. Like, you'd open it, and that was it. The rest was just all fishing and stuff. But, Sort of like when you're younger, when you're in teenage years, and you're not having your way with the ladies or anything like that. Not much is going for you. It's about as close as you'll ever get. So you used to knock a few of those over.
When yeah, but you'll start watching his content and you'll just be hooked. You'll be like, oh crap, I gotta go to bed.
Unreal, Young Bloods, mate. I'll check it out. Thank you very much for the hot tip. All right, mate. I'll leave you to it. Thanks again. Really appreciate it.
No worries.
And yeah, looking forward to catching up again soon. Pestily, good on you.
All right, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Catch you, mate.
See ya.
Well, there we have it, you guys. Far out. What an absolute legend. Just, a good bloke to chat to, but obviously doing such incredible things in the community as well. That's exactly what this stuff is built for. So, far out. I just got the warm and fuzzies. I've got the warm and fuzzies, and it might have something to do with being in my PJs, but I've got the warm and fuzzies. I'll check out Youngbloods. Now, I'm going to get, while I've still got this here, I'm going to get the great man Reflex back on for a quick yarn. I can't believe I'm actually removing Pestily from a group. How dare me.
How do I work this thing? Where do I turn the camera on?
Turn your camera on.
I'm working on it now. Is this it? Is this the internet? Hello?
Yep, there we go. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, what was that?
Elsa Nina.
That was, sorry?
I want Elsa Nina.
Well, here, can Mummy do Elsa and Anna?
No.
Okay, mate, I've just got to do Elsa and Anna from Frozen. Is that one? Is that good? Any of these?
No.
Yeah,
I just heard banana and immediately wanted a piece of fruit.
No.
I love bananas. Oh my god.
Oh, mate. If you want something long and yellow, boy.
You need Elsas and Inas.
No, real Elsa and Inas to watch.
I don't know what. Oh, you want Frozen.
Yeah.
You want actual Frozen.
Yeah.
Okay. So there we go. How's that one? There you go. There's plenty of real ones. There you go, honey. Enjoy. Mate, how was that? Hey?
Mate, Pestily's an absolute mad lad. No matter what way you frame it, no matter what way you look at it, he's such a humble dude. Like, just straight up. The amount he's raised for such a fantastic cause. Like, I wanted to say more, but I know we were worrying about time. But honestly, he's done things that just... I mean, it speaks to me a lot because when I was growing up, I actually had a heart condition when I was a child and had to go through a lot of the situations he's been raising money for. So to see him doing what he's doing to help kids in similar and even worse conditions than I was as a child is just, he's an absolute bloody legend. And quite frankly, I have more than enough time a day of him. Tarkov stuff aside, he's a good dude.
Absolutely, mate. No doubt. And I, it's one thing to know that this sort of stuff happens to sick kids in the world, but when you've got a couple of kids of your own, you're a little bit closer to it because you sort of you hope to Christ that you love the fact the service is there, but you hope to Christ that you never have to use them. And I've been to a couple of been on the occasional nights where we've had to run the kids to emergency and stuff like that, and thankfully it's been because they've got a rough cough or...
Wilco always told me having kids will change you forever.
I can only imagine as a non-parent for the time being what it would be like to have to do that, to have to touch on such a fantastic system. But
mate, you lean on it, and that's what it's there for. And it's sensational.
Absolutely.
Now, we got a couple of things to cover off really quickly.
I don't want
Yes.
to sing Elsa Nina.
You don't want to sing? Okay, honey, ask Mummy,
No.
please.
No.
I don't know which one you want, mate. While I'm sorting this out,
No, please go for
right?
it.
For people who are watching right now, we have a Valorant event coming up. A couple of big things actually coming up very soon. The end of this month, we kick off the Dungeons and Dragons live night, a 20-week season with our mates at Roll for Damage on Friday night, the 31st of July, live on twitch.tv/GameOnOz. And that, as I mentioned, 20-week season. So looking forward to that. It's going to be great.
I want to singing Elsa Nina.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I'll figure something out. On top of that, something I'm very excited about is we have finished the post-production...
No. Dad, It doesn't work.
Frozen. There you go. Here. There's a not. That's not a talk. That's not a singing one. That's a talking one. We've also finished post-production on Indie or Die, which I'm looking forward to. Indie or Die is our brand new independent developers series where I have one-on-one chats with a series of independent developers. Those chats are done. The post-production's finished. And we actually have the release and artwork and everything ready to go. That will actually land as a podcast channel through our mates at Podcast One and on Spotify and everywhere else in around about a week's time. The descriptions have gone out and the whole lot. But far out, I cannot wait for that. I can't wait for you guys
that looks good.
to hear these chats. One of them in particular, and I've told this story before, but in case you've never heard it, Connie Gephardt, who is the creative director and so many other things for Joe May, which is the studio that she represents. She talks about the story about how living in Germany as a child, under the shadow of the Berlin Wall on the east side of Germany, her father having to smuggle in video games. That was the only way they could actually play them, and that was how she got a hold of them. So, and then it all goes from there. So, very much looking forward to that. That'll be in your podcast channels very soon. And then, of course, our event. Tournament.gameonoz.com. The next, this will be G Sports Session 4.
And it is.
And it is Valorant, and it's free to play. And we have $1,500 worth of PLE computers prizing, thanks to those guys for our winning team.
Absolute legends. They're helping us the first time around as well.
Yeah.
They enjoyed the first one so much they decided to come back for a second time and go, hey, you know what? Yeah, have some more.
Let's keep going. And the other thing as well, very close friends of yours and now ours, thanks to you as well, mate, but the Quantum Energy team and the Quantum team on the day will get themselves 5 Goa Quantum packs, which we're really looking forward to getting out there as well. So the Team of Valor, I believe you've called it. Is that right?
That's the one, the Team of Valor. Team of Valor will receive, if I remember correctly, the prize pack contains per player 1 tub, 1 shaker, and if I do recall, a hoodie.
Yep.
Yep, a hoodie each. So, go out there on the day. Don't be afraid to I don't know. I mean, half the characters in that game are very animated and very flamboyant about what they do. So go ahead, shoot your shot, do some absolute nutty plays, and your boy, not Matty Mac here, who's definitely not from Quantum Energy in the chat right now.
Hey, not Matty Mac.
We'll definitely be able to hook you up with something fantastic. But we're looking for the Team of Valor to do something just that's going to make the casters and me, the host, sit back and go, okay.
Yep.
That kind of moment where you're sitting there with your tongue tied going, what the bloody hell was that? So
100%.
Get amongst it. It's going to be a hell of a day. I know for a fact that me and my crew have been practicing Valorant for the day, well, for the week coming up to this point. We actually have a little sneaky game on Saturday, but we've also been throwing some friendly community 5v5 games up over the last couple of nights. And just some of the clips we've got of Vimesy raging have been fantastic.
Yeah, unreal.
Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. Get along.
Don't miss it.
Registrations are open right now. It's limited spots, but it is free to play. And also, if you head to discord.gameonoz.com, or you'll see our Discord appear in chat in just a moment, you can go through there. And we have a G Sports Looking for Team channel as well, where you can dive in and say, hey, I want to join, just 4 other randos or whoever you need, or maybe you can come and join our team and yada, yada, yada. But it's going to be a good day, full broadcast and the whole thing. Looking forward to it. All right, Flexi. Mate, how are you going? Are you all good?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. I've been, as you know, I'm a full-time streamer. I've been just, doing what I do every day, meeting new people, having some fun. Like, I don't think I've cried from laughing as hard, in the last 3 days as I have in my entire life, just from some of the shit that's been happening in Valorant with the group we've been playing with. But, I said I wasn't going to main the game, but honestly, you guys have been absolutely insane to miss out on something like this.
100%.
It's just, bruh.
All right, mate.
Get on it. All right.
Thank you.
Have a fantastic night, everyone. Good to see you again. And, of course, thank you for the opportunity. of meeting Pestily himself.
Oh,
I will
mate.
give you a back rub when I meet you. Oh,
Can't
speaking
wait.
of which,
What?
ah,
Hey, kitty! Oh, Jesus
you look
Christ.
pissed, don't you? Oh, Jesus, I know that look. Okay,
Yep.
down we go.
Okay.
And on that note, fantastic evening, everyone. We'll catch you later on.
Good
GG.
night, sir.
Good night, sir.
All right, guys, just me. Hey, Nico, are you floating around? Is Nico Plays Games? Is he on tonight, guys? Who's coming up after we're done here? Thanks, Arion. We're just about to wrap things up. Hello, Nico. Sorry. We're around about 20 minutes late for Nico's stream. Oh, jeez. Excuse me. A bit of a different one tonight. So we didn't have a couple of things like game time edits as well. Guys, game time edits and everything else is going to be back from Wednesday next week. I'm going to say go a weekly time. That's 5:30 p.m. Australian Western Standard Time. But I do want to tell you that we do have more game time edits videos on the way as well. Thanks to Game Time Edits and Apolodex. And you can go and check out the YouTube channel Game Time Edits as well. And the whole idea is that he is there sharing his amazing knowledge around content creation for you guys in really nice, teeny tiny, bite-sized pieces of amazingness. Okay, I'm getting the hell out of here. I'm going to shut things down. Thanks for joining the stream. Big thanks again to Pestily and the Pestilian army as well. Good on your reflex. Good to see you. And thanks again, chat, for dropping by. Have yourselves a great night, a great week. And hang around for Nico. He's playing some games up next right here on twitch.tv/GameOnOz.